Welcome to WeekNGeek, your new comic showcase for November 2nd. I'm Mike Ortiz.
And I am the Chris Brown. Mike Ortiz is shaking it up today. All right, I'm going to lead off here with, this is obviously, I keep saying lots of good things about Boom's Planet of the Apes books. Here we have Betrayal of the Planet of the Apes #1. And first I was like, all right, more Planet of the Apes. I'm a little nervous that Boom's adding more miniseries.
That's a lot of monkeys.
There's no such thing as too many monkeys, though, for one. But I figured I'd give what they were doing a shot. I was like, I'll try the other miniseries. And obviously they've got on the front what looks like Zaius, and I read the thing, and it is Zaius. It's a story of young Zaius. It's 20 years before Taylor. Zaius is new to the council. And it's awesome. Gabriel Hardman's artwork is absolutely incredible. There is sort of an ape, uprising kind of going, and Ursus is in it, and some trouble brewing. And, oh yes, ape shall not harm ape. Ape shall not kill ape, and yet, trouble's brewing. Then we got Animal Man #3. I really like this book. They're really driving home. Obviously, they were building everything with the red, and they were saying that was going to be a big part of this, and it's going to tie in with the green. Well, they're slapping you in the face with more of that now. And the Hunters 3, these characters who are agents that are out to destroy the red, they're up to no good, and Buddy Baker and his daughter are inside the red, and they're learning a little bit more, and pretty cool. That's more
they're taking it in a little bit a different direction than the Grant Morrison stuff and the superhero stuff. It's a little bit more like the Vertigo run, I think, than the DC run. But
I never really read the Vertigo run.
It was good stuff.
It's been great. I really like what Jeff Lemire is doing.
Definitely one of the standouts of the New 52. It's across the board.
For sure. Then we've got Avengers 1959. This is just a fun book. I like it. I'm really enjoying this. This is a fun team. I haven't read the second one yet. I am behind an issue, and I guess I'm behind 2 issues. But Avengers 1959 has been cool.
Avengers meets Mad Men? Is that
kinda? Yeah, I guess sort of.
Alrighty.
It very much has this debonair kind of thing. I guess it's like if John Jameson and Dos Equis guy and Craven were all hanging out working for the Avengers.
I always like the kind of untold tales of the Marvel Universe stuff. The stuff that stories from the past that we haven't seen before. It's always good stuff.
Yeah, and that's certainly what that is. Then I've got them in my stack because I'm trying. Fear Itself 7.1, Captain America. It's Brubaker.
You mean Fear Itself #8?
Pretty much. Yeah, they're just going to keep milking it. But it's not written by Fraction this time, so he can't screw it up.
Actually, Brubaker wrote the Fear Itself intro.
Which was really good.
Probably the best part of the series.
So I'm hoping this is going to be good. The artwork looks fantastic. Was it Butch Guice? Yeah.
Yep. These guys, the guys who were doing Captain America for a while,
doing this, and it's kind of, is this sort of a follow-up to Bucky and all that? Is that the idea?
I think this is basically Cap dealing with the death of Bucky in a way he wasn't able to in the regular series.
Then Fear Itself, The Fearless.
You're just a glutton for punishment.
Board Itself, The Restless. Let's call this one for now. I haven't read the first one yet. I haven't gotten to it. Ooh, there's some vampires. They're not sparkly, but they look a little Nightcrawler-ish.
Maybe we got Valkyrie in this.
Valkyrie's in this. It's, it's supposed to follow up with all of the shenanigans that are left on Earth after Fear Itself, even though I don't feel like anything happened. I don't know, but I'm a glutton for punishment.
Just because nothing happened doesn't mean they can't keep telling that story.
I'm a glutton for fearlessness. And whatever. Then some more 52, new 52. I'm giving Stormwatch 3 another shot. I'm going to give this a full story arc before I make my full decision. Second issue got a little bit better, but I just don't know. I wasn't reading The Authority.
Yeah.
I don't know if I really care about those characters. That doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean it's good or bad. I just don't know if it's my thing. I'm giving it one more, going to give it, maybe 4 or 5 issues, whatever the arc is. And then I'll make my decision. But the last issue was better. Hoping this one gets even better. We're getting more into the universe of the New 52.
Apparently this is going to, this is the book where they're going to lay out some history of the New 52.
All right.
Especially stuff that happened prior to
so I am going to have to read
Justice League. You don't have to. You can always look it up on Wikipedia. But if you want to read it the fun way, with pictures.
You should always read it. Yeah. Then one of my other faves in the New 52, Swamp Thing by Scott Snyder. I really like this book, and I'm looking forward to this next one. I mean, the second issue is just getting it going a little bit more. You know, I feel like with this one, he's very much leading up to his tale. He's laying a lot of stuff out. Looks like we're going to maybe get more into the guts here, which would be good. They got to start getting into the green because Jeff Lemire's already mentioning how the green is going to tie into the red.
I think it's interesting that Snyder is able to walk a line between the Alan Moore Swamp Thing and the Len Wein Swamp Thing. So it's not as... It's a little bit more kind of old-fashioned horror than Alan Moore, but it's still got a lot of the kind of mystical qualities of the Alan Moore stuff that came after the Wein stuff. So really interesting that he's able to do that this well, capture kind of the best of both of those writers.
He's a heck of a writer who again, as we've said many times on this show, has a great job setting mood. Mm-hmm. And this is kind of a moody book, a fun book, walking those lines, and it's a lot of fun. Then back to Jeff Lemire, Sweet Tooth number 27.
Interesting cover on this one.
It is an interesting cover, and the artwork lately has been really interesting too.
Now this is Matt Kent, I think,
a
different artist. Yeah. So there's a.
I like it. It's been good. You know, there's still they were trying to get to Alaska, and it looks like there's kind of a tale of the past perhaps going on here. I think I'm maybe an issue behind looking at this one. I don't know if I've read the one before it. But I really like this book. I think Jeff Lemire does a really nice job setting up character and really kind of drawing you in and telling each story arc, but slowly revealing what he needs to as a part of the larger story. I like this book quite a bit. Then Villains for Hire, point one.
Misty.
I love me some Misty Knight. I do. I can't get enough Misty. This time she's leading a team of villains. Guess if, obviously she was controlled by Puppet Master. She went through everything that went on in the previous series. This is going to be, this is just a point one, which is going to lead into a 5-issue mini. And then hopefully they go back to Heroes for Hire. Because I don't want Misty working with the bad guys. If it's one of those things where she has to and she gets the job done, all right, that's fine. But I'm curious to see where that goes. Sucker for Misty Knight. Then American Vampire, number 20. This is going back in the past, a tale of Skinner Sweet during kind of more of almost like a Civil War period, and there's still things going on with Native Americans and all of that. And there's some kind of mystery Native American woman in a cave. And
the art is Jordi Bernay, who was on Hex.
Is that who? Okay.
Jonah Hex for quite a while. So
wonderful stuff.
A different art style, but now something that still fits the Western.
Very much so. I love this book. Scott Snyder. Do I have all the Scott Snyders and all the Jeff Lemires this week?
Yeah.
I think I did. How about that?
You always have the Lemires.
Well, all right. But the Snyders, I feel like I stole them from him. Then an image book that I've really been enjoying is this Witch Doctor.
Yeah.
Lucas Kettner, I believe, is the artist. It has a very Bernie Wrightson kind of thing. It's really spooky and eerie, and I like this doctor. He's really he's dealing with all these monsters, but he's got this cool about him, even though he's dealing with spooky weirdness, and he's kind of an oddball. I think it's great, and this artwork is just freaking fantastic. I can't say enough about Witch Doctor. This is issue 4. They've got I think like some kind of big special coming up in December, which is going to be like another jumping on point in case you missed these issues. But there was a kind of a preview issue and an issue of Walking Dead.
Yeah.
There was almost like the 0 issue, and then this 4 issue has just been awesome, fun stuff. If you're not reading Witch Doctor, you really should be. Go back and pick those up. Then Amazing Spider-Man. This is the epilogue to Spider Island. And I love the cover.
Yeah, familiar cover.
Yes, everybody walking away from the trash cans. Very reminiscent of issue 50 of Amazing Spider-Man. Everyone walking away, costumes in the garbage. We'll wrap up what they did in Spider Island, and I'm still an issue or 2 behind here, but we'll wrap this up, and then I'm sure we'll get another fun story arc. Then we've got. My last before my top pick, before I turn it over to you here, we've got The Legend of Oz, The Wicked West. I think the actual street date for this was supposed to be the 26th, but I was dragging my feet a little with our buddy Tom Hutchison over there at Big Dog, and I just got a package this week. So I got these, and I got Penny for Your Soul, False Prophet #2, but this Legend of the Oz, the Wicked West, a really neat idea, a Western take on Dorothy Gale and the whole Wizard of Oz myth. She's got ruby spears and kind of like ruby-handled pistols. And in this first issue, she wanders into a bar and people sort of question that. The flying monkeys are a little bit different. The Tin Man seems to be some kind of a sheriff. We haven't really met the Scarecrow just yet, but Toto's the horse.
Nice.
It's really cool. I think it's a neat book. The artwork is pretty nice. We got art by Alison Borges. We got 2 great covers, Alison Borges and Nia Ruffino did the other one. The Nia Ruffino cover is really pretty exceptional. Check that one out. I can't say enough good things about it. I made sure to read that one before today, and I really enjoyed it. What do you got there?
Well, I'm going to start off with Invincible. We've sung the praises of this many times.
Great book.
It's a great book. Mark has kind of been dealing with a lot of the story's been dealing with kind of the repercussions of his actions, maybe kind of grounding it in a little bit more reality.
Yes.
The book has definitely moved into a darker, more kind of realistic
He's grown
place.
up, too. I mean, he's more in a grown-up place.
Definitely. This one breaks out the kind of all of those alternate universe invincible zombies pop up in here. And if you've been following the news, you know that there's some changes coming to the Invincible universe that will make it darker. Next up is Irredeemable. I finally did get caught up on Irredeemable.
All right, what do you think?
It's still pretty solid. I mean,
is it
Plutonian is back on Earth. The vibe is a little bit different, but it still feels like, okay, I hope this is moving towards an ending of this story fairly soon, because if it's just going to, we're at a point where it can either wrap up or just start rehashing.
Okay.
I'm hoping it just wraps up and either the book ends or it moves on to completely different area, because it's certainly we've started to see some of this stuff before. The novelty of the evil Superman has worn off. There have been new revelations. There was a third brother that popped up. New possible threats to Plutonian. All really good stuff. It's just, after 3 years, it's starting to be like, all right, let's see some resolution. Moriarty. I haven't read this in like 3 months, so this is another one of those ones where if I don't read it, those new 52 and then some of the Marvel stuff, they just stepped right up and slapped some of these
Image books have been great, though. I mean, they're still good books. It just, it is a little bit harder to get to them, I guess, but
because we want to try and keep up on the new 52 stuff, because that's what everybody's talking about.
Certainly,
it's all continuity stuff. An Image book that I would be behind on if an issue would come out in the last 6 months. Infinite Vacation #3. I really liked the first 2 issues of this a lot.
I read the first one, but I think I missed the second. The first one was good. Nick Spencer.
Yeah, the premise is interesting. People go on vacations sort of by going to their alternate reality selves. But there's a mystery involved in this, a murder involved in this. The main character has to team up with some alternate versions of himself. Someone is killing him, I think.
Okay.
So it's a weird...
Is it Jet Li?
He
insists on being the one?
I really hope that's not where this is going to go. I have a feeling it's not, but... So it's got some weird, dimension hopping. It's light. The other ones all had some photos.
I like the art, too.
It's great artwork, and then there's also always these little of ads, kind of commercials that are all done with photos. So some interesting stuff. I probably don't have to read this anytime soon, because I'm sure it'll be another 6 months till 4 comes out. Next up is Cold War #2. This is a new creator-owned John Byrne spy kind of book.
Is it any good?
I don't know, but it's John Byrne and it's spies, so I'll give both of those things a chance. Fortunately, I think it is just a limited series, so even if it's bad, I'll still buy all of them. Next up, this one kind of intrigued me a little bit. It's Heart from Blair Butler and Kevin Mellon. Blair Butler is from G4.
Right.
Kevin Mellon is a pretty talented artist. He hasn't done any really big books lately. This is from Image. It's been getting a lot of hype lately. It's kind of an ultimate fighting champion.
Yeah.
So I really don't know why I'm giving this a shot, other than I've seen these two on a lot of podcasts and interviews talking it up. And you know what? It's almost like I'll just give it a shot just because they made it sound interesting. So if you've got a creator-owned book, you've got a book that get out there on the podcasts and the websites. You get it out there enough, someone like me is eventually going to go, all right, because that's why I read Nightly News.
Oh,
that's how I discovered Jonathan Hickman. So you get out there, you have like a halfway decent sounding pitch. I'll give it a shot. So we'll see. Blair Butler. I don't know if she's a writer, but she's pretty. Find out. And she's a geek, so we'll give it a shot. Kevin Mellon's a cool guy. I've met him at a couple of cons. Next up, my favorite of the New 52s, Action Comics #3, Grant Morrison, Rags Morales, and we've got Gene Ha contributing a little bit to this.
Oh, nice.
I've mentioned how much I dig this book before. This is the Superman early years. He doesn't have a costume. He's in jeans and a T-shirt. Very reminiscent of the early appearances of Superman. If you like this
science fiction-y vibe too.
Yes. Much like the original. They were He was a sci-fi hero. Jerry Siegel, was a big sci-fi fan. There were no superheroes. It was science fiction stuff. So if you really like this take, you can go and check out like the Superman Chronicles, where they reprint Action Comics. I actually reread Action Comics not too long ago, #1, and this really just feels like it's coming right out of there. Also, check out Super Gods, because that pretty much just lays out Grant Morrison's interpretation of this Superman. And also you can check out the Zod Complex episode where Chad and I do a review of Super Gods, and if you don't want to read a long book, we'll just explain to you everything that he said.
The rest, Smits and I were like, we're not showing up. You guys just talk Super Gods.
So, Action Comics. Next up, Justice League International #3. This is not...
That cover.
This is a great cover.
Look at that cover. Look at that thing.
That's a great cover. Definitely some stuff is going down. This is not...
It's been a fun book.
This is not the funny Justice League.
No.
This is actually almost a little bit more of a traditional Justice League than the regular Justice League book right now.
Which is almost more of a funny Justice League.
So, it's the characters are kind of smart-assing with each other. But this is a little bit more straightforward. It's set in the present.
I like it.
The characters have been around for a while. This is the UN sanctioned or the official government sanctioned version of the Justice League. But overall, it's been pretty solid. Dan Jurgens and Aaron Lopresti are doing a pretty good job here. Next up is OMAC. Basically, it's Dan DiDio and Keith Giffen channeling Jack Kirby.
Yes.
And doing actually a pretty good job of it.
It's a pretty book.
I was leery of this. I mean, I know that Giffen can draw like Jack Kirby. Has been drawing like Jack Kirby since the 70s. But I didn't know if they could capture that feeling. And they don't capture Kirby, but they capture something that's close enough.
Okay.
It probably makes a little more sense than Jack Kirby stuff, but you didn't hear me say that. I still love Jack Kirby. Next up is Red Lanterns. This is actually also a good cover, if you like women bathing in blood. Was this a Vampirella cover at one time, maybe? I don't know. I'm
sure you'll see something on Bleeding Cool about it.
It's a swipe file piece. I actually have not read #2 of this yet. I caught up on the other Green Lantern stuff and just recently realized I didn't quite make it to this.
I haven't read the 2 either.
But, overall...
One was okay.
I like Peter Milligan a lot. #1 was good. It was Atrocitus dealing with, what does a rage monster do when he has no more rage? He finds more rage. But this is... what was his name? I don't know how to pronounce your name. It has Z's in it.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
I don't remember. Yeah, but whatever. This is the woman with the skeletal wings, which really could not work. Yeah. But I guess it doesn't have to work. She's got a red ring. So Red Lanterns, if you've been reading it so far...
You'd be filled with rage if you had bony wings,
This is true. This is very true. We go from Red Lantern to Red Hulk. Honestly, I have not read the other. This is Hulk of Arabia. I've not read the other 2 issues. I don't know what's necessarily going on. Jeff Parker is still the writer, so I'm sure it's going to be pretty good.
Right.
Although Gabriel Hardman has abandoned Hulks for apes, and Patrick Zercher does a good job, but he's no Gabe Hardman.
Check out them apes.
I may have to check out the apes instead.
Young Zayas.
Next up is Moon Knight. Again, we've sung the praises of every issue. This is number 7. Still Bendis and Malieve. The West Coast superhero crew, I guess. I mean, this is Marvel Universe West Coast. We've still got the Ultron thing going on. We've got some underworld stuff going on. It looks like we got some more superheroing in this one than maybe there has been. Does that count Nefaria, maybe? I don't know. But anyway, these guys usually deliver. I've enjoyed this book so far. If nothing else, some of the best artwork you're going to see this week. And Crazy Man. Gotta love that. Next up is X-Men number 20. This is the Victor Gischler book. This one's kind of on the cusp for me now because, there was a time when this was the only X-Men book I was getting. Now I'm kind of like, wow, I'm getting a lot of X-Men books. So we'll see what happens with this.
Marvel's almost shoot themselves in the foot with the way they're handling the X-Men because they're just pushing people to other books. And they're just pushing people back and forth.
Yeah, and this was the best X book for a while, but now some of the other ones have sort of stepped up. I actually am not caught up with this, but because this is the Regenesis, the new
You're gonna have to read it.
I'm just gonna skip the stuff that I've missed and assume that this is a good jumping on point and see what we've got. It looks like we got Storm versus War Machine on the cover. I don't know why War Machine's in an X-Men book, but then the previous issue had the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man and Dracula. So this is the X-Men book where the X-Men deal with non-X-Men things. So anyway, X-Men number 20. So what's your top?
My top book is a book where you had actually picked number 1 last month. And I read it. The artwork looked good. I mean, you said it kind of had an Invincible vibe for you. The Strange Talent of Luther Strode, number 2. I gave that number 1 a shot, and wow. It's violent. It's it's very much adult content, some filthy language and things, but it's a crazy book. I really enjoyed it. This kid Luther Strode gets this book that teach him about Zen and Kung Fu, and he starts developing powers. You see, there's some kind of an alien intervention, perhaps. There's another guy with an equivalent of his powers, but he beats up. He starts to slowly get stronger. He's this nerdy kid. He starts to get bigger. He beats up a bully. He gets the girl. And he has these really violent fantasies from time to time, even though you've seen in the beginning of the first issue, there was a flash of him, doing some pretty nasty things to people. And then he's trying not to be that guy. But it's violent and crazy, and the artwork is fantastic, and I really like it. I think I think you should check this out. If you like the artwork in Invincible and you like things that kind of push the superhero limit, get a little darker and crazy but with some cartooniness, Strange Talent of Luther Strode is a book you should check out. We got first prints this week too, or second prints of the first issue rather, as well, so you can catch up on that. What's your top pick?
My top pick kind of surprises me a little bit. It's Uncanny X-Men number 1. I never thought I'd pretty much written off the X-Men entirely, but Kieran Gillian came along, did a bang-up job. I picked up the .1 issue that he did. I was buying it with Fraction. It was decent, but it was just not good enough to stick with. I picked up the .1 because Carlos Pacheco was the artist. Wound up really enjoying the story. I've enjoyed Uncanny X-Men all the way through the end of its colossal run. I mean, it ended as basically the highest numbered book being published, and now we're at a number 1. It's reboot time.
Huge, yep.
But this is Gillen and Pacheco. These are the guys that kind of got me back into the X-Men.
Pacheco's stuff is really nice.
Fantastic. I mean, this is the new status quo. Wolverine has gone back to New York. In Wolverine and the X-Men, set up the Jean Grey Institute for Higher Learning. It's basically the X-Men of a few years ago. It's more the school. These are the mutants on what's it called? Utopia.
Oh, all right, yeah.
So this is kind of chugging ahead with the mutant nation, and Wolverine's got the mutant school. So somehow, I don't know how Marvel did this. They made me interested in the X-Men again.
Good.
So if you like Carlos Pacheco, if you like the X-Men, this is probably good for you. So I'm making it my top pick this week.
Excellent. Well, with that is your Week in Geek.